So now to set up the run mode for test data, we can go to our Excel file again. So I'll say Alt Enter, and I'll go to the location of my Excel file. That is inside Resources, Excel, and this is the test data. Right, and what I'll do in add customer, I want that there are 4 set of data over here. I can set up a column called run mode over here and say the first 3 should be executed, this one should not be executed, right? So at times you need to enter the valid user details and invalid user details. You have 100 set of data out of which you want to run only the valid ones, right? So you can set up the run mode as yes for the valid ones and then no for the invalid ones, right? So this thing can also be achieved. What we can do is the code should be very simple. I can go inside my test and wherever I am actually this is add customer test, right? So here I can specify if like if the run mode dot equals the run mode should be now, where to get this run mode from? Now, run mode for the test data, since we have actually mentioned it as a column over here, so we need to define a column over here as well. So I'll say string run mode, right? So I can say if run mode dot equals y, right? And it should be not equals y. Simple. So just we are checking this run mode and we can simply say throw new skip exception, skipping the test case as a run mode for data set is no, right? And import the skip exception. That's it. So if I run this, the 4th set of data where we have actually set up the run mode as no will not be we can even try it in between. Let's say I don't want to execute the second data, right? So it should execute only the first one, the third one, the second one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. It will not going to execute this one, right? So let's save this and run this again to make sure this works. So I'm going to say maven clean and I'll say run as maven test. And see first and second should not be read and then directly the third is read. Right, and the fourth one and then the open account will not be executed. So if you go back to the reports, we'll go over here, we'll refresh this, you're gonna see this one is skipped. So this one got executed. Right, and these two are skipped now. So this is how we can set up the run modes for our test data as well as for the test case, right? The other thing, if you may have noticed over here, see, I've added a column in my Excel sheet, right? Let's say if I again go back to my Excel sheet, so I've added a column over here. Let's say I need to add 3 more columns or 4 more columns or 20 more columns over here. Then I keep on adding the parameters to my method over here, right? So this method will gonna have that much number of arguments. So instead of writing all these things over here, I can actually use the concept of hash table and while I'm doing parameterization, right? Parameterization is actually done in my test util class, right? We have this data provider where we are actually reading rows and columns in a form of a parameter. So here what I can do, rows will remain as it is. Now column, I don't want it to be like n number of columns based on my Excel sheet. So I can change it to 1, right? Why 1? Because I will be keeping just one parameter over here. As in my add customer test, instead of writing all these things, I can just say, I'll remove all these things and I'll say hash table of a string type data. That's it. And import this hash table. So there should be one argument over here, right? So that whenever you want to check the run mode, you can say data dot get and get the run mode. Run mode. This should be equal to the run mode column in the Excel sheet, right? Same thing. If you want to use the first name, last name, postcode, you'll say data dot get the first name, and same way copy it and use it over here. This should be the last name and this should be the postcode. So this should actually come based on what column names that you give over here. Same thing for alert text. You go over here and say data dot get alert text, right? Same thing we need to do it with open account test, where we are actually reading this. So I'll copy first the hash table stuff and go over here. Instead of giving all the column names, just give one single and say data dot get customer and data dot get currency, where customer and currency should be the actual one that you have given over here. I'll make the run mode as Y for this test. Right, now how to implement this thing? This we have already covered in our Selenium course, where I've actually explained about TestNG, right? So if you are already enrolled to that course, you can just go through that particular topic. If you are not familiar with that, I'll again gonna implement that thing over here. So what I'm gonna do when we are actually creating the object data over here, so here I'll be defining the hash table. I'll say hash table, and I'm gonna give the type as string of a string type table equal to null. So for each row, I will be creating a table, right? Each row, as in, if you take a look over here, if we have like 4 rows over here, there will be 4 tables that will be created. And the key for all these tables, for let's assume this is the first table, this will gonna have the key as all these values. Similarly, this will be the second table and this will be the columns, the keys for the second table. Same thing goes for the third table and the keys, the fourth table and the keys. Right. So this and this thing combines one table. So this will be key and this will be value. This and this will combine the second table. This entire thing. This is the second table. So for each row, I'll be creating a hash table. So what I'll do when I'm actually into the row, I can say table equal to, I'll say new hash table of a string type like this. Right. So for every row, I'm creating a hash table. Right. And then I'll be adding, I'll say instead of this, I'm gonna say table dot put. Now it accepts key and value pair, right? So key will be Excel dot get cell data sheet name, right? And the column number is at the moment it's 0, right? The column number and the row number should be 1, right? So row 1 should be this row. So for this row, it will be taking the value that is the value associated to this 0 column in first row against the first name. I need the data that is this. So I'm gonna say Excel dot get cell data, right, sheet name and the column number and the row number, like this, right? And then this has to be given, the table should be, the 0 row and 0 column should be the first table. So I'm gonna give over here as table, like this, right? So how it actually works, what we have actually done over here, if you take a look over here, table dot put, what I'm entering into the table is the first row is this. Against the first name, I am actually giving the data as sheet name. Sheet name is the same, add customer test. Column number at the moment is 0, right? 0th column. And the row number is 2 at the moment. So this will actually gonna fill this data against this key. Next time, the same table. The same table will be there, but the columns will be iterated. So next time columns will be 1, which should be this, and row should remain the same. Row should be 2. So first all these data will gonna fill in the first table, right? In the first hash table. Then the row number will be incremented. Next time the row number will be 3. And over here the row number always remains 1. So the key will always remain 1, and then the data will be filled for the third row, right, which is this row. So this is how we'll be creating a hash table, and this is how the values will be incremented over here. So once I run this thing now there is no need to give all the columns over here, right? We just need to give data over here, and if I run this, you're gonna see everything will gonna work absolutely fine. So if I right click, say run as Maven test, it's gone. Okay, it failed somewhere. Let's see. Probably the Excel sheet is also open. We need to close the sheet as well. But let's see where the issue is. We got array out of bound exception. Test util Java line 52. Okay, the column number here, we need to use the column as 0, not the column number. Let me run this because we are actually putting the first column only over there, right? The method accepts only one column, right? It should always be one column. So let me run this again. So run as Maven test. See, that's the first data. See, the second data was not right because the run mode of that data was no. Let's see. It executes all the test, right? And if we go back to our report, we're gonna see that only this, the run mode for this particular data was no. So this was not executed. And rest all the set of data got executed. And now the benefit is that we have optimized the code so that we need not to write all the column names over here. So column, whichever column you want to get the data from, just say data.get and use that particular column name. That's it. Right? So this is how we can do more optimization, right? To we can implement the concept of hash table and read the data in a form of key and value pair. All right.